Hello everyone, Patrick here, the Leaving Cert History tutor, and just a little follow-up video on the newsletter stroke group email I sent yesterday and the inclusion of the Leaving Cert Essay rubric. So let's have a look at that now and the logic and thinking behind this. Alright, so I'll just put it here now and I'll put it into full screen. And we'll have a gander at it, all right? So here we are now. No, I suppose I was kind of holding off on it because like the RSR rubric, I was hoping I would get it down to one page. Probably still could, and of course you have an editable version also that if you thought there were sections or rows that were unnecessary, feel free to take those out. Put in ones you think would suit your class or suit your teaching. It is entirely up to you. All right. Now, once again, this is all about taking the mystery out of Leaving Cert History. My byline, and I suppose really what I have here is, as a Leaving Cert History corrector, like what are we looking for in terms of students' performance? Like how can we maximize their mark? So, as I say, with these rubrics, they're brilliant in that they save time. They are a great assessment and feedback tool, and they are a great teaching tool because, as I've said to you before, if you can show students what I call the goalposts, these A comments that I'm highlighting here, they know exactly what you're looking for, and surely that's going to feed into the way they write and hopefully improve over the course of the 1 or 2 years, however long you have them for. All right. Now, I suppose the beauty of this as well, I suppose, I suppose with COVID-19, there's some issue, there's some debate at the moment whether we can take up copies, and if we do we have to put them into a box, into quarantine for a few days, then correct them, then do we have to wait another few days before we hand them back? I suppose what's happening, and certainly happening in my class, that a lot of this work is going to be done online on platforms like Google Classroom and I suppose Microsoft Teams also. So I suppose having a rubric like this that you can, like so, just highlight, right click, copy, and just paste then into the document where your student has done their work is very, very handy. All right. Now, so let's have a look at some of these comments anyway, and the different headings I put in. Now, again, for convenience sake, you will see there I've the two put together, the RSR and the Leaving Cert Essay rubric. All right. Now, let's have a look at the essay rubric. So of course, there had to be a section, a category on paragraphing, and I've highlighted the D comment here. One or more of your paragraphs were too long. One or more of your paragraphs were too short. Like that's generally what you'll get. And all the way up to the A comment, your essay was consistently well paragraphed. All right. So if you look at the marking scheme at all, you can see essays are marked according to paragraphs or paragraph equivalents. Expression. No, they don't really lose marks for this, but I suppose like many of you, English is my second subject. History and English is a popular combination. But I think anyway, as teachers, we should be encouraging, basic high standards or basic standards in things like spelling and punctuation, and I know as a corrector as well, it helps, correcting is a tough job without students not using proper grammar or punctuation. Now, it's not the end of the world if they don't, but I still like to see it. Now, after that, then I went on to recycling. And what I mean by recycling is recycling the key word in the question. Now, the key word could be something like impact. What was the impact of such a person? Or how effective was such a leader? What were the strengths and weaknesses? And again, those are the words. Correctors, like myself, we like to see them recycled throughout a student's work. Now, not to overdo it, but every now and again that they kind of touch base with the question, say to the corrector, hey, look, I'm answering the question. It does help. Okay. I have a section here on answering the set question. So again, that they don't fall into the trap of summary or just going to a case study because that's the only thing they know in detail. Now, this is certainly one that could go, kind of a pet one I have, you know, or something that just niggles me, like, you know, as regards the copy and presentation, you know. So I suppose up to COVID-19, I'd always got students to do their essays into a copy, you know, that over the course of 2 years, you'd have a collection of essays then, and they can track their progress from day one up to the eve of the Leaving Cert. Now, I suppose in terms of presentation, it's nice, you know, from a corrector's point of view, if the work is neat and legible, you know. So again, maybe that's one you could drop. Now, again, extra reading, viewing. Again, I've added the word viewing because I think so many of us, and our students too, are using YouTube, are using documentaries from Netflix, you know, so that's stuff there too that I'm starting to use, certainly, and they are using for their RSRs. So again, I suppose it is in the marking scheme that if you want to impress, there is evidence of outside reading. Now, I guess when the marking scheme was put together, they had in mind that students would head off to libraries and get volumes and books and encyclopedias and read up on whoever they were studying. Times have changed, as we know, you know. So I think you can include viewing, even listening, you know, because as you know, if you follow me, I'm a big fan of podcasts, you know, and there is a growing wealth of material in that store as well, right? So I think the A comment here is great to see you included new material outside of class notes. So whatever notes you're giving them, if they can bring a little gem or nugget from an outside source, you know, it does impress. All right, so that's included. No, yeah, I had to go to a second page. Time management is huge when it comes to these essays. So I suppose to begin with, their answers will either be too short, you don't use the time effectively. They can also write answers that are too long. That's mainly where they get to the 40 minutes I would recommend for writing an essay, and then go and spend another 4, 5, 6, 10 minutes on an essay when they should be spending those 10 minutes on the next essay in the paper, you know. But too many of them, from my experience from correcting anyway, fall into the temptation of, you know, I just spend a little bit longer on this, you know, finish the job. No, move it, you know, get on to the next one. So again, that's why the A comment here is you managed your time well and wrote the required amount. Background, you got bogged down in unnecessary background. I gave you a 12, like 12 isn't always good news. If you look at the marking scheme, you get a 12 if it's excellent. You can also get a 12 if you overdo background. Chronology and omissions, it's pretty straightforward, like, you know, too many bad errors, revision required, they just haven't learned. Chronology was mixed up at times, can happen, you know, the best of students, especially in fifth year, you know, just events in the wrong order, you know, but there's no harm highlighting it, you know. So if you kind of highlight that here, like this, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. So they will know when they do their next essay, I've got to work in chronology. The order of events matter, you know. And the rubric bears that out because the A comment says excellent and accurate information throughout your answer. All right. Now, so let's turn off the yellow there before I go on. Now, so understanding, it goes from weak to fair to good to excellent throughout. All right, and then I suppose, let's be honest, when I give this to my students, it's the first thing they look at or tend to look at because it has to do with draft or redraft work. Again, the D comment here would say much better expected, full redraft required. Well, no, buddy, this wasn't good enough, and for your sake, you need to rewrite this essay again. The C comment, correct the brief errors I asked you to look at. Right, so maybe during the course of an essay, I would have written little questions for the student to correct, and again, just to improve their understanding, you know. Like there's no point in leaving error there without them fixing it. Again, this would be more detailed. Redraft the paragraph or paragraphs marked in brackets, okay? So they might get 1 or 2 of those to redo. A lot of the time, that's actually, I'd say to them, maybe just finish the essay, add the 2 paragraphs you need to write to finish this essay, you know. And again, perfection will look like this. No redraft required. This was excellent or very good work. All right, so that's the rubric. I hope it's of help. I suppose the last one got a great response, so much so, I set up the mailing list, and, it was with great pleasure I was able to send it all off in one go yesterday. Now, a few people have joined the mailing list since, and I think I've looked after all of those, but it's going to mean, I'll be more efficient moving forward, and hopefully I can get the stuff out to you when you really need it. All right, and that's about it. Again, thanks for your support, for following my pages across all the social media, for the likes and shares and the recommendations. I'm getting a lot of feedback as well from teachers telling me they heard about me or heard about me in the page in a staff meeting or a subject meeting at the start of the year. And so it's great to have that as well. Of course, spread the word, pass it on to your students as well. Let them know I'm here, and I am a Leaving Cert History corrector, so I have the inside track, and I'm here to help, and like I said, any brief question I'll deal with, often on my stories, because I think it's a great way to express what I mean. And as I said in my email, often the explanation can be lost in translation if you just type it. All right, so let's all the best, and hopefully we have a very smooth year, smoother than we're expecting anyway. All right, till next time, and bye, and we'll talk again. Okay, bye-bye.